Why do companies need warehouses? So let's talk about warehouses. We need warehouses in a variety of different situations. One of them is to consolidate our raw material supply. So let's imagine a company that has 2 plants and 3 raw material suppliers. Now we could ship from those raw material suppliers directly into both of our plants and it will be fine. But there's a better way, and that is to use a warehouse in between them that receives raw materials from the 3 suppliers and then ships out assembled assortments as needed. Now this has several advantages. Number 1, efficiencies. And we can create efficiencies in transportation because we focus on each lane specifically and make it really good. We can achieve efficiencies in inventory because we can hold our inventory where it's needed and just as much as it's needed. And then finally, in production, because our production facilities get the resupplies they need when they need them. The other advantages are risk pooling. We hold inventory in just one location rather than scattered across this network of companies. And then finally, our service levels will be much higher than they would be otherwise. Even in more complex examples, warehouses still provide us with some benefits. Now let's look at the case where we have the same 2 plants and 5 different customers. You could ship out from those 2 plants to the 5 customers individually, but the customers want an assortment of products produced by both plants. So you instead should use 3 warehouses to consolidate your output from the 2 plants, create assortment, and then ship them out to your 5 final customers. This has the same advantages that we had before. It's more efficient, it reduces the risk, and it provides the customer with better service. Now let's review the 3 basic functions of warehousing. 1 is movement. Warehouses are meant to facilitate movement of products by receiving them, by transferring them across the warehouse, by picking them when they're needed, and by facilitating shipment. The second one is storage. You want to have an assortment of products in your warehouse available readily for when the customers want them. Now that storage may be shorter term or longer term in the case of less used items. And finally, information. Information about your inventory. When it's coming in, what you currently have, when it's going to go out. There are different types of warehouses. To the left, we see a private warehouse, which a company built just for their products. They own it, they run it, and it only serves their business. To the right, we see a public warehouse where there are products for multiple companies and the shipping process is managed by a specialty warehousing company, sometimes also known as a third-party logistics company. They manage the warehousing and sometimes even the transportation process for their customer, the different shippers. You've seen what's outside of a warehouse, now let's take a look inside. Now in order to understand what goes into a warehouse, we have to just review real quickly what makes a warehouse really good. And those are 3 things. Number 1, it's speed. Once the product is demanded by the customer, we want to be able to ship it out as quickly as possible. Number 2, quality. We don't want to send our customer the wrong item because that would really make them angry. And third, productivity. We want to recycle as much as possible, think about the environment. We want to reduce as much as possible, and we want to reuse as much as possible. Inside the warehouse, there are several things going on. We will move around products using forklifts, dollies, and carts, and we're going to use them to unload our trucks. We're going to use them to move products around the warehouse. And then finally, we're going to use them to load our trucks back up and ship the products out. Warehouses are full of racks and shelves because that's where we store the products in. Conveyors and sorters are where it gets really exciting. That's what we use to move the products about in the warehouse. Right before we get ready to ship out the products, we're going to assemble and package the orders.